This program contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened.
On September 7th, 1987, in the waters off the Florida Keys, 68-year-old Walter Benjamin and his 69-year-old wife, Joanne, set out in their boat to spend the day together, like they had so many times before.
I guess you could say we were childhood sweethearts. I first slept with her when I was 6. When my little brother was born, my folks took me over to her house and they dumped me in her bed. So I had to marry her to make an honest woman out of her. But we've known each other all our lives.
Walter and his wife Joanne shared a special love for each other and for life. On that late summer day, they were planning to go scuba diving together, as they often did.
Before we go into the water, we always check each other's equipment to make sure that her regulator is proper, that it's working. She's got her airs on and vice versa. She checks my air and makes sure that mine's working, so we know everybody's ready. Then our custom was to proceed to the front of the boat, and we meet at the mooring line, and then we go down together. We never went down alone. When I got around to the mooring line, Joanne was sort of laying face down in the water with her snorkel in her mouth instead of her regulator.
Yeah, you don't have your regulator in here. Come on. I know, what's wrong?
And I lifted up her head and gave her a regulator to put it into her mouth. She couldn't accept it. She said, I can't breathe, and that's the last she said, and she was just absolutely gone at that point. I thought, what in the hell am I going to do? Getting her around the boat was easy. Getting her into the boat was almost impossible, because we had to go up a ladder, and I couldn't do it by myself. I just couldn't do it.
Laurie McLaughlin was on a marine sanctuary boat in the area.
I was out on patrol with one of the officers, and we heard a gentleman yelling out for assistance. We went up to see what the problem was and immediately realized that we had an emergency situation here. Somebody was in trouble.
But I was just trying to get her out of the water. That's all I could think to do. Get her out of the water, get her in a boat, then we can work on her. I didn't know whether she was alive or dead. She was absolutely limp.
Once he got her on board, and once I was able to climb up in the boat, we did strip her down of her dive gear so that we could then continue on from there.
You all right?
She's not breathing. Check the pulse. No pulse. I'm going to start CPR. Bill Green, call.
Sanctuary officer Bill Green called for help.
Luke E5, Bay Honda base. I radioed into the Bay Honda State Park base and notified them of the medical emergency and had them send an ambulance to Dolphin Marina.
Jay Marzella was spending the day with his wife and brothers, not far from Walter's boat.
We were all in the water, and as I looked up, I noticed the particular boat that we had spotted as we came into the area. And alongside of it was the park ranger. So I left Joe and swam over to my boat just to get a better look, just to see, was it something routine or was it something more serious that they might need some help?
I just responded without even thought. You just become a machine and you just go with this programming that you had been trained with. So it didn't even occur to me that, oh, all of a sudden I'm going to have to use CPR for the first time. It was just get in there and go with it.
Officer! Officer, do you need any help?
Yes, we need CPR assistance.
At this point, I shouted to Joe that we need CPR.
CPR!
I swam down to Mark, tapped him, motioned him to come up.
Both Joe and Mark Marzella were firefighters trained as EMTs.
We didn't know who was injured, what was happening. We just knew that somebody needed CPR at the time.
We need help. Hurry.
I saw an elderly lady lying on the deck of the boat, very obviously unconscious.
When we continue,
all I could think was that this poor man had lost his wife right there in front of us, right before our eyes.
My brother Joe and I climbed in the boat immediately, and we started two-person CPR. My brother Joe started on the ventilations, and the woman that was there helping, she continued on with her compressions. I requested the oxygen, and I gave it to Joe, who was already up at the victim's head.
1, 2, 3.
The patient at the time looked very serious to me. I realized when there was no pulse, she was cyanotic, pupils were dilated, that she was either in cardiac or respiratory arrest. My experience turning somebody around from being that close to death has been very small. I've probably performed CPR on 20 to 30 people in the last 8 years, and I can only remember 4 that have survived.
as the three boats headed toward shore, Joanne had been without a pulse or heartbeat for nearly 10 minutes.
I thought that I may have lost her. And I didn't think about it as much getting her in the boat as I did on that terrifying ride into shore.
All I could think was that this poor man had lost his wife right there in front of us, right before our eyes, and that all we could do was just to take her to shore, and that hopefully someone at the hospital could do something for her.
I know I was scared, and I'm still scared, and I still get choked up. I'm sorry. I still get all choked up when I remember what happened.
Rescue units arrived at the marina and began preparing for Joanne's arrival.
We set up our IV lines, we set up our life pack defibrillator, and got the board and everything ready on the gurney. There was not a lot of communications between us and the boat, so we really didn't know what kind of condition she was going to be in when she arrived at the dock.
It was a real gray situation. I had little hopes of her coming out of what she was deeply into. The oxygen was starting to get low, and it wouldn't have been many more minutes and the oxygen would have been empty.
It was actually just a few minutes from the dock. We saw that the color started coming back into her face and her lips, and we could see that the oxygen that we were pumping through CPR through her system was actually having a positive effect.
As soon as they said, we have a pulse, oh man, I'll tell you, that was something else.
I realized that what had happened was a true success story, and that CPR really is something that everybody needs to know because it can really work, and it comes in handy at times when you least expect it.
Joanne was taken to a nearby hospital where she was treated for cardiac arrest and released after 10 days. For the past 2 years, a surgically implanted pacemaker has helped Joanne to lead a more normal life.
I think I am so lucky to be alive today, and not a day goes by that I don't think about how lucky I am that all these people were around just at the right times.
Joanne and Walter have become close friends with her rescuers.
Seeing Mrs. Benjamin now is a really good feeling, knowing that we helped her and helped her family, that they can still enjoy her and her them. It could have been 2 other people in the same situation, and they may have never contacted us ever again. What really made it different was how they responded with such great thanks and friendship warmth to us afterwards.
I'm grateful to Laurie, I'm grateful to the ranger, I'm grateful to the bottle of oxygen, I'm grateful to the ambulance drivers, the doctor in the hospital, the Marcella boys. I'm just grateful for the whole kit and caboodle that I've still got my wife.
My almost fatal accident that day has brought us much closer together. While it was a terrible thing to have had happen, the happiest part was that I got feeling good again and having a good time in life. I just have so much to be thankful for.
She's my life. I can't say how much I love her, except that she's my life.
Next.
My dad's scaring me.
Right then and there, I had no idea, but I knew we had to get somebody out there now. Because of the emotion in her voice, I knew she was genuinely scared.
Please come quick.
On July 29, 1990, in El Cajon, California, dispatcher Debbie Barker began her shift at 6:30 a.m.
We normally get disturbance calls and audible alarm calls and that type of thing. Barking dogs, loud parties, and kids playing on the phone. But there are times when we get the calls that are completely different.
Emergency operator?
My dad's scaring me. He's talking weird.
Okay, how old are you?
6.
Are you there alone with your dad?
No, they're divorced and my dad's talking weird. Please come quick.
Okay, are there any weapons in your house?
No.
You live at 558.
When she said, "My daddy's scaring me, he's talking weird," right then and there, I had no idea, but I knew we had to get somebody out there now. I didn't care what the problem was at this particular point in time. Because of the emotion in her voice, I knew she was genuinely scared.
What's your dad's name?
Frank.
Frank what?
Sechner. Franklin Sechner.
Okay.
Officer Fred Van Every was sent to the scene.
What's your name?
Megan.
Megan Sechner?
Mm-hmm. Ann Sechner.
Is your dad drinking today or anything?
No.
I didn't know if her dad had been hitting her and she had snuck away to call. He maybe was chasing her. I had no idea.
Where's your mom?
She's at my grandma's house in Temecula.
Okay.
I feel like I want to walk home.
Okay, well, why don't you just stay on the phone with me, and we're going to send someone to talk to you, okay? Does your dad know you're calling us right now?
No.
Okay. Is he in another room?
He's in the same room that I am.
Okay, he doesn't realize that you're on the telephone with me?
He does.
He does? But he just doesn't know who you're talking to?
Please come quick.
We will. Just, Megan, try and calm down just a little bit, okay? We're going to have officers on the way to your house in just a couple minutes, and they should be there very shortly. Okay, but I want you to stay on the phone with me until we get there, okay?
Okay.
Okay, try and just calm down.
He's drilling.
He's what?
Please come quick.
We will. What did you say he's doing?
Drilling.
Drilling? What is drilling?
I don't know.
You don't know what drilling is? You just know he's drilling, but you don't know what that is?
Yeah.
Is he fixing something that's broken with a drill?
No.
Does he have
He's on the couch.
He's on the couch? Is he awake?
Yes. Please, I want to get off the phone.
You
You know, I have children of my own, so I can understand when children are scared, you want to try and empathize with them. But she wouldn't elaborate on what he was doing to scare her.
What does drilling mean? Like, is he asking you a bunch of questions? Is that like that?
No, he's just like saliva.
Oh, drooling. He's drooling. Does he need an ambulance?
Yeah, I think so.
You think he needs an ambulance? Stay on the line. I'm going to transfer you to the paramedics. Don't hang up, okay, Megan?
Okay.
Fire medical emergency.
I explained the situation to them, told them we were already on the way, but I was still going to keep her on the line with me until we got there.
Rescue units from the El Cajon Fire Department were dispatched to the scene without any further information on the problem.
Megan? Okay, we're going to send a paramedic to check on your daddy and make sure he's okay, okay?
I want my mom.
Okay, I know you want your mommy, and I know you're really scared right now, but you're doing a really good job, and if you can just stay on the phone and talk to me for a couple of minutes, that'll be great. You did a really good job. You know, that's really great that you called when you were worried about your dad and when you were scared, and that's what 911's for. Okay? Okay, sweetheart.
I want to hang up.
I know you do, sweetheart, but I would really appreciate it if you could just talk to me just for a couple more minutes, okay? What's your daddy doing right now? He's just sitting on the couch? Okay. He doesn't have any, like, beer bottles?
Within 3 minutes of the call, Officer Van Every arrived on the scene.
Has he been drinking anything at all? Like, does he have a glass of water or anything? He's there? Okay, you answer the door. Don't hang up, okay? Just leave the phone off the hook.
What's the matter with them?
I don't know.
Sir, wake up, sir.
I thought he was dead when I first got there.
Frank.
I couldn't really see any respiration at that time.
What's wrong with your dad?
I wanted to see the policeman because I knew he would help my daddy.
I checked his pupils, which were unresponsive. I tried to shake him, wake him up and talk to him, and got no response.
Fire department EMTs arrived soon after the officer.
Frank, can you hear me, sir? What do you got? I don't know. He's got a saliva
What's
coming
his
from
name?
his mouth. Frank.
Frank.
He's not
Frank.
responding.
Can you understand me? Frank.
The little girl's real scared, real worried about her dad.
Cougar, you get the BP, I'll get the O2.
Within 2 more minutes, the advanced life support units got to Frank Sechner's apartment.
Okay, we got a medical alert tag here.
What's it say?
He's diabetic.
Get you a pulse in a minute here. Okay, you got the BP, I got the O2. I got 100.
49-year-old Frank Sechner was in a diabetic coma. Paramedic Dave Rickards and his partner took charge of his care.
When we first came through the door and saw Frank, it looked like he was in a deep unconscious state.
His medical alert tag.
Okay, did you find any insulin in the refrigerator?
I checked.
We went ahead and did a blood glucose analysis, and that told us that his blood sugar was real low. In fact, Frank's blood sugar was so low it didn't register on our machine at that point. Frank's condition was pretty serious.
Okay, Dave, I have an IV established with a 18 gauge to the left AC.
We went ahead and gave him some dextrose. And what that does is kind of like a large loading dose of sugar. And it goes right to the brain and starts the brain's functions back.
Okay, D50 is on board.
Frank, can you hear us yet?
He's got some eyes are fluttering there.
As he was coming out of his unconscious state, we're beginning to ask him, did you hurt anywhere? What day is it? And he was a little slow to respond at first. He was still a little on the disoriented side, but after a few moments of awakening, getting some more juice into his system, he was able to answer all our questions. He was back to normal.
Less than 10 minutes had passed since the first help arrived.
When he was aware of his surroundings, he was thinking, hey, where's my daughter?
You okay? Well, your daddy's all better now. Would you like to go and talk to him?
Okay, Megan.
Let's go and talk to him.
You go with him, Megan. He's gonna be real fine, okay?
When Megan saw her dad, she just lit up.
Your daddy. All right.
We let him know that, yeah, Megan was the one that saved her life.
Good job, Megan. There you go,
My
Megan.
partner, Bob, went down and got a, what we call a comfort teddy bear. And once she saw that her dad was okay, I think the teddy bear kind of clenched it for her, and she felt safe at that point.
Pretty special.
Frank Sechner is alive today thanks to his daughter Megan and his former wife Lynn, who taught their little girl how to call 911.
I was just really grieved that I wasn't there when she needed me. That was my first reaction, was that I hadn't been there and she had gone through something really horrible by herself. Then I felt just a real pride that she had done what she needed to do to take care of herself and to save her dad.
Putting anybody through an experience like that is just, it just tears at your insides, you know. It's just something that you don't want to put anybody through, especially a child, especially your child.
Even though I was scared, I was happy when the lady answered the phone. All parents should teach their children to call 911.
She did something that was just very, very special. You know? She's a hero.
Step out of the car, please.